Hello, everyone. Whether you're a B2B buyer, a channel distributor, a product manager, or heading up procurement for a hotel or coffee shop chain, welcome. I'm a professional engineer right here at the Hard Shell Factory, and today we're diving into a deep dive technical explainer. We're going to completely strip away the flashy marketing jargon and look at this purely from a manufacturing and engineering perspective. We want to show you exactly what it takes to build and choose a truly perfect espresso grinder. This isn't just about sharing specs. It's about giving you the hard engineering truths so you can make the most profitable, strategic decisions for your next coffee equipment product line. So, let's jump right in.
Now, there is a massive misconception floating around the industry, and this quote hits the nail on the head. A grinder that can grind fine is not necessarily a coffee grinder for espresso. A lot of buyers look at a spec sheet and think, hey, big motor, grinds super fine, we're good to go. But honestly, from an engineering standpoint, that is a huge trap. Surface-level specs do not automatically translate to a great user experience, and honestly, they can just lead to high return rates. So what actually makes a grinder espresso capable?
Well, here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the core standards of an espresso grinder, tackle the great flat versus conical Burr debate, talk about matching your portafilter system, solve the headaches of static and retention, and finally, look at a practical framework for procuring and customizing your products. I promise by the end of this, you'll have the actionable truths you need to make airtight purchasing decisions.
All right, Section 1, the core standards of espresso grinders.
What actually separates a true espresso grinder from a general-purpose one, or worse, one of those cheap blade grinders? Instead of getting distracted by vanity specs, like a machine claiming to have hundreds of settings, you really need to ask 3 mandatory questions when planning your line. First, does it have a genuinely usable espresso-fine range? Second, can you actually make and, more importantly, repeat tiny micro-adjustments? And third, does it dose neatly into the basket without making a total mess of the bar? If a grinder has tons of settings but can't accurately fine-tune in that crucial espresso range, it's completely useless to your customers.
To really understand this, let's look at the daily workflow. Step 1, dose into the basket. Step 2, taste and make a small adjustment. Step 3, clean the path. It sounds simple, right? But for us manufacturers, this workflow is the ultimate test of usable design. When your customer switches to a fresh bag of beans, they absolutely have to be able to tweak the grind slightly and then lock it right back in the next day. This kind of user-friendly engineering is literally the main defense you have against customer frustration and product returns. Moving right along to Section 2, choosing conical versus flat burrs.
This is always a hot debate, but we need to shift our thinking from which one is better to what is the strategic product positioning. As you can see, conical burrs are fantastic for a practical home workflow. They make daily dialing in super straightforward. Flat burrs, on the other hand, like our signature hardshell 64mm flat burr configuration, are designed for demanding, professional, or 58mm enthusiast setups. They require much more detailed adjustments. So the key takeaway here? Flat isn't just a default upgrade over conical. They serve entirely different target markets, and your procurement strategy needs to match your specific audience. Let's look at Section 3, adapting to your portafilter. This is an engineering detail that a lot of brands overlook during OEM manufacturing, and it is crucial. 58mm systems are pro-level, meaning they are incredibly sensitive to consistency in the grind, the dose, and the tamp. But listen, that doesn't automatically make 58mm superior to 51mm. A 51mm system demands equally precise manufacturing. It needs a perfectly suitable holder and sensible chute clearance to ensure zero spillage. Here at Hardshell, our standard is that the grinder's geometry must perfectly match the portafilter, no matter the size. Because let's face it, if your user has to awkwardly hold the basket by hand to avoid spilling coffee grounds everywhere, that is a failure in product design.
That brings us to Section 4, solving the everyday headaches of static and retention.
As buyers and business owners, you know that static and retention directly impact both efficiency and user experience. But let's cut through the marketing buzzwords. What is true anti-static technology? By engineering definition, it's the use of negative ions or plasma to reduce particle cling and scatter. But pay attention to that second part. It does not eliminate the need for routine maintenance. As a responsible factory, we have to be clear. Anti-static tech dramatically improves neatness, but easily accessible cleaning paths are still an absolute must. Never buy into the myth of zero retention, zero cleaning forever.
So how do we engineer out these frustrations on the production line? Well, take a look at our solutions.
In our hard-shell CG2011 to CG2019 series, we've integrated an upgraded anti-static technology right out of the box. And for our CG2017 model, we took it a step further, integrating advanced plasma anti-static tech with a specially engineered low-retention chamber. We've taken these massive physical engineering challenges and turned them into stable, mass-produced product lines. That's the kind of reliable supply chain capability we bring to the table.
Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, procuring and customizing your products. All right, let's get down to business strategy. I highly recommend taking a close look at this matrix because it lays out the core logic for your procurement. If you are developing a customer's first dedicated grinder, you must prioritize a real espresso-fine range and repeatable adjustments. Do not assume high setting counts equal precise control. For a home upgrade line, focus on an improved dosing workflow, less mess, and exact portafilter support. Don't just assume a bigger motor makes better coffee. And for an advanced 58mm setup, it's all about fine adjustment and consistent dosing. Don't fall into the trap of thinking premium metal casing automatically solves the dialing in process. Using this framework is going to make your budget and product line planning so much clearer.
And that wraps up our technical explainer for today. I want to leave you with a very strategic question. What is going to define your next blockbuster product line? Whether you're a brand looking for manufacturing, an importer sourcing premium equipment, or a retailer expanding your catalog, if you need reliable OEM or ODM solutions to turn these engineering advantages into real profit, reach out to Anson here at Hardshell. The email is right there, anson@hardshellcoffeemachine.com. Thanks so much for joining me today, and we can't wait to see you on the factory floor to build your next big market success.